Hello and welcome to another episode of the Small Town Tourist Podcast, where we experience and explore everything that makes small towns great. I'm your host, Abby, and today we are heading to Osakis, Minnesota to talk with Cory Abers. He is part of the group that puts together Taste of Osakis that happens in the town every year. This year it's happening September 6th and 7th, and they are cramming so much fun into 2 days in that town. There's professional bull riding and mutton busting. There is a craft and vendor show. There's events for the kids and activities for them. There's beanbag tournament, and of course the big event that really caps it all off is their big concert that they put on this year. Tyler Farr is the headliner. Lanco will also be there. There's a couple of other regional acts that are performing as well. It is a huge event in a small town, and I am so excited to shine a spotlight on it today. So please enjoy our time hanging out with Cory, telling us all about Taste of Osakis 2024. I will have you start by giving your name, where you're from, and what your role is with Taste of Osakis.
Okay. My name is Cory Abers. I am here from Osakis, and my role in the past, I was the Osakis Chamber of Commerce president. I'm still on the board, but I'm lead up the organization and whatnot of the actual event of Taste of Osakis, because it is put on by the chamber, and so I just kind of took on that role and that piece of still being on the chamber.
Cool. Yeah. So before we get into Taste of Osakis, which is like the main topic of this podcast, for those of us who are unaware of like what exactly a chamber does, like I feel like I grew up my whole life knowing, oh yeah, there's a chamber of commerce in every town, but what do they do? What's their role?
So we're membership based, but basically it boils down to we're an organization that is representing the businesses of that town. So it's the whole basis of it is getting all these businesses together to ensure that we're advertising for them, we're advocating for them, we're getting people to not only come to town to spend money at maybe their business, but also their neighbor's business and the community as a whole. And when we work in a small community like this, it's almost act as a tourism piece of it as well. So we're an advocate for the businesses, but we're also an advocate to get people to come here to stay, enjoy activities, entertainment, things like that. But also in the end, we would love for some of these people to stick around and put some roots here in Osakis and, move here, live here, build a home here, things like that. So we're kind of dual fold when it comes to a small town chamber.
Well, and in a town like Osakis, where you do have some of the overflow from the more touristy side of things in Alexandria, like it's a good role for you guys to have, and it's super helpful. And I feel like just even trying to find a parking spot out here on a Friday in the middle of the day, I mean, like people are out and about. They're enjoying this town, which is really cool.
They are. Like if you walk outside onto the sidewalk on a Thursday, Friday, and you just look up and down the street, it's so cool. The people that have come in to stop, maybe they're going fishing, something like that, or camping, going around town with their coffee, kind of looking in shops and doing things. So it's nice to see some of that still, tourist attraction, hometown feel of them walking around and just enjoying our space.
As of July of this year, my grandparents just got a place on Lake Osakis. So it's kind of fun to see that, because they were up in the Battle Lake area for a few years. They had a cabin up there, and they're like, we need something just a little bit closer to home, because they still live in Long Prairie. They just needed a lake spot. And so now they're like, Osakis just seems perfect. And they've been absolutely enjoying it. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
That's good feedback to hear. We do get quite a few people from all over the state that come into town, and they're like, we just love this little town. That's what we pride ourselves on, is still having the amenities of a bigger city, because we're right there by Alexandria, right there by Sauk Center, right here by Long Prairie, and they have some of those bigger amenities for a rural community, but you can come here and kind of get away from it a little bit more as well, and just a small town.
You get to keep your small town feel.
Yes.
It's a very charming town. I'm actually super happy that this worked out today, because right after here I'm going to go check out the antique store that's just a few buildings up. And then I also have a certificate for Guns Galore that I need to use up. So
You can't find a better combo.
It's a great day. It's a great day.
You should stop at Tip Top before you leave,
Oh
too.
yeah, definitely doing that. I'm gonna get myself. I'm hoping they have Dole Whip this week. I haven't seen anything posted, but that is my go-to treat there. So fingers crossed.
I love it.
So let's get into Taste of Osakis. Now this is something that, to my recollection, it's been going on for a handful of years, or is it newer than that?
This will be our 5th year actually doing it. So prior to the Taste of Osakis, they had an event that called Moonshine Madness. And they had done that for, I don't know, 6-7 years probably. And it was on a lower scale. It wasn't handled by the chamber. They had its own committee and whatnot. But come 2020, when the whole COVID thing blew up, everybody wanted to shut everything down, right? And so, at the time, being president, I said, we gotta do something. People are in their homes, we gotta get them out. So we took over the event. I rebranded it, called it Taste of Osakis, and we started out small. Just wanted to get people out and about. We had vendors downtown. We had some bingo outside and things like that, some gun raffles. So it was very low key to meet the standards of what we were going through at that time.
Right, because that was right in between. That was right as everything's oh, everything's fine, and then it all shut down again.
Correct. Yeah, this is when everyone are no, you shouldn't even be close to that person. And there was this a whole hoopla of it.
Weird time to be alive, man.
Right, no kidding. So from that point, we've kind of just built it over the last couple years into a bigger deal. 2021, we brought in Josh Grayson. 2022, we brought in the Eli Young Band. 2023, last year, we had Rodney Atkins. So in the last couple of years, we've teamed up with the radio station Kick FM up in Alexandria, and they've helped us, kind of build that momentum. And this year, we're kind of doing it on our own with their help. We're just kind of keeping the momentum going and kind of just staying steady with the acts that we got coming in.
Who do we have playing this year for it?
So this year we have Landco as the band leading up to our headliner of Tyler Farr.
Wow.
So yeah, we got a couple other ones. We have Wasted Time. They're from Glenwood area. They're going to open up on our side stage, and then on our main stage we'll have Rafe Carlson. He's a Duluth native. He's going to play for an hour or so, and then we'll lead into Landco and Tyler Farr.
That is a killer lineup.
Yeah.
And to have that in Osakis, so I currently live in the St. Cloud area, and we're really lucky to have Raleigh's that can bring in some national acts. We have the Ledge Amphitheater in Waite Park that brings in some national acts. But up in this area, there's really nothing that brings in those big name acts. You have to drive an hour and a half to see those.
Yeah. And the only way we can do these things is by our businesses in town, our sponsorships. They come through big time for us. They sign up. They want to see these things happen for Osakis and the rural community around here, of driving people to the area. And obviously they get to get some advertising out of that, and people are seeing their brand and their name. But we couldn't do it without them. We can't do it on ticket sales alone, and that makes it affordable. That's the big piece. We want to be able to sell a ticket that's still affordable for anybody in the area. We're not selling a $200 ticket to Taylor Swift. So,
right. Oh, that's a cheap Taylor Swift ticket. I think cheapest I saw him go for was $400.
So we're not in that category, but we want to keep it affordable, and the way we do that, and to be able to put on the event itself, is through our businesses and our sponsorships, and that even gets outside the concert. All the events downtown here and the bull riding event, those are made possible by our businesses and our sponsors, people that are signing up, businesses that are signing up to be on the chamber, and volunteers. I mean, we can't do it without all the help involved in putting on an event like this. So
yeah, volunteers is such a huge thing for any event in a small town. It's there's just this group of people that love seeing good things happen.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to see everyone out running around with their volunteer shirt on, making dreams reality.
Yeah, it's so cool though, this coming together and wanting to do something. I just put an email out, and a post out last week of saying, hey, we still need some volunteers. and emails were coming in, boom, 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 like, hey, yeah, I'd like to do that. Yeah, me and my husband, we'll sign up. Just let us know what time we need to be there, and we're more than happy to help out. So, and as the event has grown, it just takes that many more volunteers. When we started out in 2020, our vendors, our craft show vendors, we had maybe 20. We're over 100 vendors now, just for a craft show.
Wow.
That come out. So, and they're from all over the state.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we've really grown that area of it, and it's neat to see the different genre of people who show up just for that. And they feed off of each other. People that are coming for the concert that normally wouldn't go to a vendor show. Just so happens there's a vendor show you can go to, and they'll mill around and end up buying something from our vendors. Same thing, somebody who's traveling from St. Paul to come up here to be a vendor, they'll stick around and go to the concert.
Right. You came all this way. Why not?
So, yeah, they really, all our events kind of feed off of each other and help one another grow the crowd that we have.
Yeah. So the bull riding aspect of it, is that the same day before?
It is the night before.
Night before, okay.
Yep, it is on Friday night. It's going to be out at Panther Distillery. Again, they're very gracious to allow us to go dig up their grass and bring in some bulls and put on an event. So they've been always really good about it, and we're super excited again for this event. We'll have mutton busting going with the bull riding again. The kids just go wild for that. Actually, I think maybe the parents go more wild than the kids. So we'll do that. And this year I decided, you know what, we need a little something different. So we brought it in a mechanical bull too. So we'll have free mechanical bull rides happening before and after the bull riding event. And
my gosh.
Yeah, just something a little different for the area.
Live your cowboy fantasies.
Yes, exactly.
Watch
You're not going to get on a real bull, you might as well get on a fake one.
I won't look a real one in the eye, but I'd get on a fake one. That one won't kick me in the chest.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so fun. Okay, so that's the night before. Mm-hmm. And then the vendor show is day of the concert.
Yeah, it is the day of concert. It is Saturday. So our whole day for Saturday kicks off at 10 o'clock in the morning. So we have the vendor show starting then. We have all the kids' activities. And they're all free. We don't charge for any of the bounce houses. We don't charge for face painting. We don't charge for any of that stuff because we want people to come out and just enjoy the town, enjoy the community, and not having to spend their money on those items and for their kids. So if they want to, and plus it saves them money. If you want to buy a ticket to the concert, that's where we would love for you to have the support.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we have the kids' activities. The mechanical bull will be back downtown for Saturday as well. The U.S. Army, they're coming out. They got some activities for the kids. A big thing that's back this year that wasn't here last year is the live chainsaw carving. People love that. They want to come out. There's like 5 or 6 carvers that are carving all day live. And then at the end of it, they're also going to do an auction of items that they have carved. They raise some money for the wrestling club here in town. And it's a really good deal.
That's really cool.
So we got the carving, and then the car show is also happening. That runs from 10 to 2. And we have our local bar here, O-Town Tavern. They're going to be putting on a beanbag tournament, and that's always a popular item. And then a new item that we have this year as well, we have the kids' pedal poles that are going to start at 2 o'clock.
Wow. So this must just take over all of downtown. Like this just consumes the entire area.
We have, every year I've blocked off more street. And that's good. Eventually we're going to run out of street. So, but yeah, it takes up majority of our downtown. It's between where the concert is and where the car show ends. There's blocks that are just, you don't get to park there anymore, unfortunately.
Got to get your steps in, get into all the fun.
Correct.
So where does the concert set up in town then?
It sets up right across the street from the bowling barn.
Okay.
In an open city lot. So the stage is down towards our party pit sponsor, the Osakis Pub. That's where the stage is. It's down at that end of the lot, and then everything feeds this way towards the bowling barn.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It is kind of nice because if you do plan to be out here like all day, you just have to park once and everything's in walking
correct.
distance.
Yeah, you don't need to go anywhere else, and there's enough activities, there's enough things going on that you don't need to leave. And we've tried to make it intentional for when you come to the event, that it's an experience, right? So You come as soon as you get through our gates or our fencing. You can stop at one of our outside bars, grab a drink. You can cruise around to all the vendors with your drink and just kind of hang out, watch the chainsaw carving, watch the kids jump in the houses, just kind of relaxing. And you can do that the entire day.
Honestly, give me a beer and set me in front of chainsaw carving. I'd be a happy camper. I love watching that.
Yes. Yeah, it's they do such a neat experience, and they're very interactive to the crowd as well.
Oh, it's just such like insane artwork. Like I grew up every weekend, it was cutting wood and stacking it. Like you'd think I wouldn't want to see that, but it's so cool. Just like watch what they make out of nothing.
Exactly. And I mean, they bring some of their own pieces to begin with, and then as you just watch them just take this chainsaw and move it around, you're like, I don't know how it could be that intricate, but how you do that, and they do, and then they paint them up, and it looks nothing like you would ever expect.
Yeah, like how did that log become a bear?
Correct. Correct. A bear. They make a little cardinal. It's like, how do you get that so intricate?
How did you do that without losing a limb?
Exactly.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
Cool. So what's kind of your direct role in addition to emailing volunteers, and like what have you been working on in this month leading up?
Oh, I wish it was just this month.
Yeah, it's a year-long
It's been all
thing.
year. You know, we start this way back in 2023, planning for 2024. But really, you know, my role is to do all the bookings of things. So dealing with the artist agents and the booking companies, making sure that we can get the right people, getting them for the right price, you know, kind of lining up everything, the logistics of all those items, and then everything that goes into the event itself that's even beyond the concert. You know, there's booking of the mechanical bull, doing pricing on things, reaching out to vendors, saying, hey, you should come here. We have a really great event. You should sign up for our event. And you know, many emails go out, many nights of, you know, when I'm done with work, I go home. Once the kids are in bed, it's sitting on the laptop and sending out emails and reaching out to vendors, reaching out to contacts, and just making sure that, you know, we're getting every piece in place that goes into the event. From, sure, it's the vendors, but you have porta potties, you have staging, you have fencing, you have licenses that you got to get, insurance that's in place. So all the advertising of it, making sure somebody's putting that together and you're signing off on it and getting it put out. So it gets to be a lot, but it's fun. You know, it's fun to see the whole piece of it come together in the end. And it's just not me doing it. You know, I kind of direct the people of what needs to be done and where. But ultimately, it's a good group of us that are putting a lot of time and effort into making sure that we're bringing this event to Osakis.
Yeah, it's definitely not something a single person could do because they would go insane.
Yes, they would. Yes, they would. Especially with us, everything is 100% volunteer. So the chamber board and all of us, we all have regular jobs, or we own or there's businesses that are owned by our members. This is all volunteer. None of us get paid to do this. None of us are there for a paycheck or anything like that, or credit to time. It is 100%, we think it's the right thing to do, and it's the best thing for the community to be able to do these things, so that's why we do them.
Yeah, for sure. What does booking artists look like? Because I think that's something that the average person would just never even think about, because they just like, oh, I buy a concert ticket and I go, and that's just how it happens.
It's quite an extensive process. I mean, we could hire somebody to book an artist for us, and they go through all the logistics of it. But that also costs a lot of money.
Thousands of dollars, I'm sure.
It's just, I mean, they get basically a commission to do it. When we're already on a tight budget, we can't afford to do that. So how it works is, you know, there's 3 to 4 main agencies within the industry for music, and we're typically looking just in a country aspect because that's kind of what fits our area. So we'll request avails from these agencies of artists within a certain budget, and then each one of them has their own timeline in getting back to you, and some are better than others, but that list that they provide is ever changing. Just because they're on there one day doesn't mean they're going to be on the list the next. So once we receive these lists and look them over, it goes into a process of an internal process of who do we want? Who do you think is the best fit for the area that's going to draw the best crowd and is going to ultimately be the best entertainment that we're able to get. So from that piece of it, it is picking out ones that are going to work for us, choosing who's actually going to be a headliner. With this year being 2 national acts, we had to choose a headliner, and then ultimately after that headliner was booked, they have to sign off on who is behind them.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So we just can't, we have to provide them, okay, here's more artists that we would like. And they say, okay, we're okay with that one. We may not be okay with that one. We must not jive with them music-wise.
Yeah.
Or maybe they don't even get along.
Right,
and,
yeah.
they don't want to be at the same concert venue as them who they're headlining. So they have to call shots a little bit.
That's crazy that like you give your option list to them and then they give their option list to you. Like,
correct.
Weird.
Yeah. So once we pick out an artist, we have to put in an offer. And at that point, it's kind of, you sit on your hands a little bit and you wait. And you wait for them to come back with saying, yep, we're going to do this, or we might do this, but here's what we're looking for. Can we work on this price, or can we work on something else of the contract? And if we verbally agree in email to something, then it finally gets to the contract piece of it. And then once we get to a contract piece, it is still more negotiation and ensuring that we're protecting ourselves, because they have a lot of money, we don't, and so we have to protect ourselves with the contract. And from that point, then it'll go back to the artist for signatures and whatnot. So really, this year the process took just shy of 5 months to actually book both artists.
So do you guys sit down as like a chamber then and like off that initial list go like, okay, everyone pick your top 3 and the most popular one is...
Correct. For the most part, that's what we did. We just got the list and said, okay, what do you guys see? And then we kind of collaborate, come back, and we agree upon somebody, throw the offer in. Trust me, we got rejected a few times. That kind of stinks because it really throws a wrench in your timing of getting the right artist, because you're hoping that you get that artist that you went for first.
Right.
But when you finally get a no, that's weeks later. So when you finally get a no, you couldn't have an offer in on anybody else because you're waiting for that.
It's like buying a house.
Correct. Yeah, you're just kind of waiting. You're like, oh, I hope this happens. Hope they accept my offer. and then in the end they say no. While the new avails list could have changed by dramatically.
Yeah, because...
And who you wanted as a second person, they're not there anymore.
Yep, they're already booked somewhere else.
Correct.
Oh my gosh, how stressful.
It is, and it all is based on, again, a budget. And if you can't make that budget work, it's just not an option.
Right.
And we always get the recommendations from people who aren't doing this or haven't dealt with the industry. God, I wish we would get like Luke Combs or something like that.
Why isn't George Strait coming to
Osakis? I would love to do that. I would love to have George Strait and Luke Combs. But George Strait and Luke Combs are probably like $750,000 to $1 million.
No, they're pushing $1 million for sure.
So we haven't hit that budget area yet. Maybe someday, but it might not be in my lifetime.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, the whole process is just it's interesting. They have agents and management that you have to get through, and then even after the fact, you never really deal with the artist, right? I mean, it's always you're dealing with a tour manager or a production manager, or you're dealing with their booking agents, an agency. They're very well buffered.
Yeah.
So, it's not really them making the decisions.
No.
It's the people around them.
They're just the face of an entire
Correct.
team of people behind them.
Correct. So, yeah, it's an incredibly eye-opening experience to do something of booking a national artist, and then at the same time, a frustrating one. So, yeah, but still, it's a learning experience. Even done this a couple times, and it's still a learning experience each year.
Yeah, I'm sure there's things that change and swap, and you thought you had contact with one person and they moved on to a different
Correct.
role.
Yep.
That email is dead now.
Correct. That'll even happen mid contract. You know, you're dealing with one person, and all of a sudden, you get a new email. Here's your new contact for this, and you're like, shoot, I really like that person. I really felt like I was getting somewhere.
And now you got to get a new person up to speed with everything.
Correct. Now it's like, I gotta tell my story again. So.
Yeah, that's crazy. But I mean, what a rewarding thing to like be standing at the concert the night that it's happening going, we did it, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, we've done that a few years in a row now. Just kind of stood there and just looked out into the crowd and said, this is pretty cool. Like, this is pretty cool for Osakis that we're able to pull this off. So hopefully we can do that again this year.
Yeah, very, very cool. So if people are wanting to get tickets,
yes,
where can they do that?
So our tickets are on sale online. If they go to visitosakis.com, there's a link there that'll get them to a landing page that they can either buy bull riding tickets to or the concert.
Okay.
Everything else is free. They do not need tickets to come downtown, to do any of the other activities. Those you don't pay anything for. So we need both sides of it. We need people to come out and support our businesses and downtown vendors and all those items to ensure that we can put on the ticketed events as well.
For sure. It's one big circle. It's all connected to each other.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, I will make sure I get the link for those tickets in the show notes, and I'll make sure it's shared all across my social media and stuff too. And
Perfect.
this is awesome.
Awesome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for checking out another episode of the Small Town Tourist Podcast. If you want tickets to Taste of Osakis, I have those available for you in the show notes below. Mark your calendar for September 6th and 7th and plan to be in Osakis that weekend. If you're looking for more content from the Small Town Tourist, you can always follow me on Instagram at the Small Town Tourist and on Facebook at the Small Town Tourist. And you can check out the blog as well, thesmalltowntourist.com. I'll catch you next week.